I never thought this would be the case, but December is actually bringing us a ton of Xbox and Game Pass announcements with some absolutely stunning games coming our way. Not only did we have the PC Gaming Show, which contained a lot of titles coming to Xbox, but we also had some studios drop random announcements seemingly out of nowhere for some incredible games. With that though, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive into the 15 brand new Xbox and Game Pass announcements coming our way over the course of the next year. First up, and after a 10-year hiatus, Carmadgeddon is making a surprise comeback as a roguelike combat racer, and it's actually arriving fairly soon. This one was revealed during the PC Gaming Show, and we did get a further look at this reimagined take on a classic car combat series, introducing some brand new roguelike elements. Essentially, you have to try and survive chaotic races with opponents attempting to destroy you, and each campaign features branching paths, increasing difficulties, and changing weather conditions, meaning that no two runs will ever be the same. If you wreck your car, you'll restart the campaign as a new driver with permanent upgrades, which will be unlocked by collecting beat coins. Each of the game's 15 upgradable vehicles can be equipped with weapons across 13 classes to annihilate your rivals, from machine guns to some massive missiles. To be honest, it does look pretty awesome, it sounds incredible, and it is slated for some time next year. As if you weren't eating well enough with Hollow Knight Silksong this year, a small little indie studio has also dropped a brand new trailer for its mesmerizing Metroidvania platformer called Mio Memories in Orbits. As part of the PC show again, this new trailer comes complete with poetic voiceover and a haunting low visual style to get us in the mood to smack some mean old robots. From what I know, Mio tells an unsettling tale of lost memories in a technological abyss of a space ark full of rogue machines, which feels particularly poignant with the actual real-life fear of robot overlords increasing daily. There is not much really to go into with regards to the gameplay, as you're seeing all the action on the screen right now, and it looks bloody fantastic. We finally have a release date as well of the 20th of January, and yes, it will be coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. We had yet another brand new trailer for Lunar Strike, and this is a story-rich adventure from Cognition Game Studio that emphasizes morality and the fleeting nature of memories in a grounded speculative narrative with zero combat. Your task in Lunar Strike is to document humanity's final lunar colony, but in piecing together fragments of what came before it, it seems you'll discover there is far more going on behind the scenes than you ever expected. This one though is developed with ethical questions of legacy, memory and responsibility at its heart, and we will face increasingly difficult challenges to build and preserve the archive with multiple different outcomes driven by our own decisions and our values. Lunar Strike isn't actually set to release until midway through 2026, but at least we now have a rough window to look forward to this one. If you love boomer shooters, then you probably would have loved Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun when that came to Xbox a couple years back now. But in one announcement that came from the studio this week is its next FPS, and you'll be shooting at aliens this time and not in the Warhammer universe. This time, Auroch Digital has turned its attention to Starship Troopers, announcing their game called Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug War, which is a single-player retro-styled FPS where players will shoot a lot of bugs to do their parts. The story of this one does see the return of General Johnny Rico, with Casper now reprising his role, along with a brand new character named Major Samantha. In the game's campaign, players will have access to over 30 weapons to use against the bugs as the war across the galaxy rages on. It currently has a rough release window of early 2026, so it's not long to wait until we do our part yet again. High on Life 2 is going to be with us in just over 2 months' time on the 13th of February 2026, and with that in mind, IGN has been running a month-long campaign on the game with lots of exclusive footage that's been trickling out here and there. On screen now, you can see this exclusive footage, which is set early in the campaign in Pink Line Harbour, one of 3 in-game hubs that you'll be exploring. It looks very creative, fun, visually pleasing, and honestly, the skateboarding mechanics in particular seem like a great addition, so I honestly just can't wait to check it out when it releases this February. Don't forget though that High on Life 2 will be part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass from day one, but if you don't have a subscription, pre-orders are now live on the Xbox Store at a price of £50 here in the UK or $60 in the US if you are interested. We have seen a massive influx of city builders over the past year, and yes, we are indeed getting another called Tamer Town sometime in 2026. One thing I cannot understate to you though is that this one has a unique take on the traditional city management game, as you are building a town where trainers from monster catching games actually live with their monsters they would use in battle, and it actually creates a more harmonious kind of city that you help put together. We did have a further look at some of the core gameplay mechanics we can expect from this genre mashup, including cozy city building elements and intense battles between trainers. The in-game auto battles are described as a fusion between real-time and tactical turn-based combat, and that really does have me excited. I will be interested interesting to see how those mechanics really do blend though together in practice, but the merging of city building and arena combat is a very unique one. If you're someone who likes a mix of mystery and action, then Lunar Abyss is going to grab your attention in 2026. In this one, you play as a prisoner but sent deep into a forgotten lunar colony to gather intel, but what you find is way more than you ever bargained for. The game in this instance blends fast-paced, frantic shooting with some very deep exploration, and as you can see, the environments are very atmospheric and unsettling, and the enemies are incredibly fierce. From doing some more research on this one, Lunar Abyss is just as much about uncovering the dark story of this abandoned lunar outpost as it is about surviving the dangers that are lurking beyond it. The devs have stated there's a rich narrative running through the game, and the tension really looks to build up as you dive deeper into the abyss. If you love sci-fi shooters with a very strong focus on story, then this is one to watch, and after a few delays, we finally got a release window of 2026 to put on our radar. You know, I don't think we've had enough Witcher likes in the last decade since CD Projekt Red's smash hit action RPG. The Relic First Guardian in this instance looks set to offer a similar style of roving, supernatural sleuthing, but this time in a dark fantasy world inspired by Korean folklore. A brand new trailer, which was premiered at the PC gaming show Most Wanted yet again, shows our spell sword unraveling the fate of a fallen soldier while battling demonic enemies in war-ravaged villages before coming face to face with one of the game's haunting bosses. I will say, unlike the vast majority of RPGs, the Relic is ditching level-based character progression in favour of a gear-first approach, so your effectiveness and playstyle do hinge on your chosen weapon types, runes, and crafting choices, which is actually a quite unique take on this genre. It looks fantastic from this further showing, and it has me really excited for its launch day in early 2026. A big player in the ongoing resurgence of the boomer shooter genre is a twisted little Quake-inspired FPS by the name of DUSK. DUSK is a retro-inspired shooter with oodles of atmosphere, but is very much a high-octane affair. Dungeons of Dusk, which is being made by a brand new developer, and not David Szymanski, is a turn-based strategy title that actually takes place between DUSK episodes. As you can see from the gameplay on screen now, the spirit of the original has been totally retained here, even though there's a completely different UI and also gameplay elements. When it does land though, it will do so with a 30-level campaign, as well as supplemental endless arena modes, boss rush modes, and even survival modes, so there's plenty for us to do right out the gate. If you are interested, it does come to Xbox sometime in 2026. As you may be aware if you watch my videos pretty regularly, Terminull Brigade launched onto Xbox Game Pass for PC about a couple of months ago now, but I did mention a console version was coming very soon. Well, out of nowhere, the studio has now announced that Terminull Brigade will arrive onto Xbox for free on the 7th of December, and it will have a ton of cool perks included for Xbox Game Pass members. This game, if you aren't familiar, is a fast-paced looter shooter action roguelike in which you explore new realms, collect epic loot, and then fight through unpredictable high-energy combat encounters. You can play this one either solo or with your friends, and it is pretty decent from what I've played so far. Do make sure to subscribe down below as well, as I will be uploading a review of this one once it lands on the Xbox very shortly. You may have been aware, but Splitgate 2 had a pretty tumultuous launch, and the dev team took the game back into its beta state since May of this year. Well, finally, after a long and arduous journey, they are finally releasing the game once again on the 17th of December, but is now called Splitgate Arena Reloaded. This is still the same game, but the devs have essentially massively overhauled everything to make it feel more in line with Splitgate 1 in terms of its visual style, the way that it plays, and so much more. Upon watching the reveal of this announcement myself, I was actually pretty floored by how the developers have listened to this one, and the amount of changes and improvements here are actually quite incredible. This one is still launching free to play as well, and I am keen to see how it fares towards mid-December. Here on the channel, I've been talking about Replaced for quite a while, and it's a narrative-driven 2.5D platformer that I've been eager to play for years at this point, and now it's finally got a release date of the 12th of March next year. For those of you who haven't heard of it before, Replaced will see you attempt to expose the sinister secrets of Phoenix Corporation as Reach, an AI trapped in a human body, and that's all amidst a dark cyberpunk thriller that features striking visuals and a moody synth-driven soundtrack. The gameplay appears to be mostly platforming based, but of course in cinematic style that lends itself its fast-paced action. Interestingly, Replaced will only be launching for Xbox and PC, which does mean it's going to be an Xbox console exclusive at its release. It's also a day one Xbox Game Pass title for Ultimate and PC Game Pass members, which is quite incredible to see. Just under 24 hours ago, we were treated to the reveal of a brand new open world RPG from Pathia Games, the same devs behind my time at Sandrock and Let's School. Their new game though is called The Godslayer, and it's got a particularly interesting connection to the folks over at PlayStation. The game is part of the PlayStation China Hero project, which is described as providing development, publishing and marketing support for its titles. I did have a little look online to see if this was still the case, since it's now going multi-platform, and thanks to the guys over at Pure Xbox, they've now reported that PlayStation is still publishing this one, and for the record, this looks like the second title coming from Sony to Xbox next year. Whatever the case may be, I'm actually still really looking forward to playing the Godslayer on Xbox, and this first glimpse looks pretty promising. It kind of reminds me of the likes of Avatar: The Last Airbender with the combat, but I just hope it's not another Souls-like, as I'm so bloody tired with that genre lately. Soul Shogunate has been announced for Xbox, and it looks like the most video game you could probably ever hope to see. This one is in development at an independent studio called Chaos Manufacturing, and it's a single-player sci-fi action RPG all about samurai in space. The game is actually set in an alternate future in which humanity is spread across various planets, and they're all under the rule of a powerful shogunate. You play as Yuzuki, who was once part of the powerful samurai family that was massacred by a rival clan, and she then becomes a ronin seeking justice for what happened. It seems that the moon though will be a major location for the game, with several large cityscapes for us to explore. Regular gravity is in place in these public places, but it looks like the game will toy with differing gravity as you move through different environments. It looks absolutely insane, and I cannot wait to see more, along with a release date very soon. I am the first person to break this information other than the official Xbox YouTube channel, and that is for Nova Roma, which is officially coming to Xbox for PC via Game Preview on the 22nd of January 2026. It will also be day one onto Xbox Game Pass, which is incredible, and we have been seeing way more PC-only Game Pass releases these days, which can also be a good thing and a bad thing if you're stuck on console. This is a new city builder though that's focused on building a new Roman Empire away from the original one, and yes, it's a sort of low poly anno, which has me very intrigued. In this one though, you will be building your empire up from nothing as you gain new citizens and new resources that essentially fuel your empire and its many buildings. From residencies to giant dams, there's a little something to utilize for every occasion. Of course, this is an early access title, so don't expect a full-blown game right out the gate, and I would be keen to see how this one progresses over the next year. What game announcement are you excited by? Do any of these games intrigue you? I would be keen to hear your thoughts down below, and let's have a discussion about it. Whilst you're here though, make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe as well, as we're on track to hit 80,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I would love for you to join our ever-growing Xbox community. A big shout out as well to our channel members for your continued support lately, and if you do want to join for exclusive perks like emotes, videos early and so much more, then click that join button down below. To check out some more Xbox content though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I recently covered all of the Xbox Game Pass games coming this December, and there's a few games that definitely should tickle your peach.